Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you're all starting off your year well. Let's jump right on into Collectively Rewilding. All right. Here we are in Collectively Rewilding, and you can see there's been some new activity, probably just the advertisement for today's class. And this class has shifted to a bi-weekly class. Instead of one every week, we'll be having one every other week. And so if you need support in the middle of that, just always pop in, throw someone a message, create a post. You can jump into the campfire circle chat and let everybody know you'd really just love some company to keep you from doing whatever it is that you're trying not to do. And so for myself, the biggest thing that I'm working on is trying to quit cigarettes. And so does anyone else want to speak up and share what they're working on? Please, Miss Tammy, go right on ahead. Nobody needs to raise their hand. I don't think there's just the five of us.
Well, I'm currently still sober, you guys, like 5 months from not drinking alcohol. Yeah, so I do have a big bottle of alcohol and I haven't touched it. So, like you were mentioning with I think it was your relative Sabrina, or maybe one of your friends, just having it there, it tests me, and I haven't drank and I haven't even had the thought, just looking at it makes me want to throw up, to be quite honest. So, once you get over that 3-month mark, it tends to get a little bit more easier. But there's still at times where when me or my husband are not in the best mood with each other, sometimes that alcohol will want to kick in, like me wanting it to, like, obviously calm my nerves. But it's hard still, but it's a work in progress. But I'm still sober, you guys, and loving it, you guys. So yeah. If you're wanting to quit something, you just got to keep at it, you guys. Yeah, it's a process. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Anyone else?
Can you hear me?
Hello, Patrick. How are you?
Oh, there you are.
Welcome to Collectively Rewilding.
Yeah, well, thank you.
You're very welcome. What are you working on better habits about this year?
Better what?
Better habits, better things to do, or what are you quitting?
So I will tell you, well, hopefully, beer. I've been drinking beer only for 5 years. I'm 59, never drank beer, ate organic food for 30 years, religiously, worked out, went to the gym, all that stuff. No alcohol, no drugs, pot once in a while. But I hate weed, so it's not one of my things. I have a company, Atlas North Construction. I've been in construction most of my life. I have a PhD and a bunch of other stuff, blah, blah, blah. But I love houses and all that stuff. And I probably have the highest reviews in the country, believe it or not, little old me, for Atlas North Construction Company. So I have just got another award from Angie's List. I have a phone call with Angie. She sold that company to Home Advisor for $200 million. And I've managed for 10 years now, 4.9, triple 5-star review. And I have a shame on me. I wasn't really working on my website, my stuff that I should have with Google, because Google will take care of you if you marry them. So I've been trying to build up my website and do better with that. So I have nothing but 5-star reviews with them. So that's the main my main focus, because that's how I eat. But I also started a nonprofit. I filed through the IRS. It's called, everything I do is under the umbrella of Atlas North. So that's called Atlas North Foundation, Making Fathers Great Again. So I have 11 and a 13-year-old I haven't seen, but maybe a couple times in the last 4 or 5 years. Never got married, heartbreaking. And
it's really hard for fathers out there. It really
is. Yes, thank you. My father was killed by a drunk driver in 1973. I'm 59. I was a young kid, his brother 21. And now to repeat this whole process all over again with my kids and the court system. So I found there's a new bill called Bill HR 174 in Congress. It's coming up in February, March, or April. And I contacted two of the Congress ladies, and they got me in contact with another congressman. So I said, please, if there's anything I can do to help the situation, because the the whole destruction of our civilization, I know this is insanity, is that in Western Civ, which I took twice because I loved it so much, is when the money falls from the hands of the many into the hands of the few, and then we're no longer a manufacturing nation. So there's a great book written by psychoanalysis, not that we're all into that, by Eric Fromm. He said women can produce babies, men can't, but we can produce bridges, tanks, and cars. So, somewhere along this line, we've lost our manufacturing. So there is a commensurate movement out of the last four generations of fathers being extracted from the homes. And now we see today the proof is in the pudding with what we see as our, deconstruction of our humanity and civilization that our forefathers worked so hard for.
There's a lot of truth to what you're saying, and I approach it from a different angle, but I agree with a lot of what you're saying. And what we're doing here is a little bit beyond that. I think we've lost touch with skills that are even before manufacturing. I'm not negating manufacturing. I think manufacturing absolutely has a place. But when we depend only on manufactured goods, it puts us at a deficit as well, right? So while we need to build up our trades, we need to get the young men and the young women as well who are interested in those trades out there. My father is an electrician. He owns his own electrical business. And
Thank God for him. Thank
right?
God for him. Yes, I trust me, man. I have a great electrician. I give his number to every one of my customers because all of them, nobody can find a good electrician or a good plumber. That's the most difficult thing.
It very much is. And it's not just electrical and plumbing. It's really in all our trades. And so I had never thought about it. I feel for the fathers out there. I know about how badly the court system has mangled family situations.
Thank you.
It's ugly. And I had never looked at it from the perspective of trades, right? And so bringing us a little bit back to topic, you said you'd only been drinking for about 5 years. And so are you trying to quit that now to go back to the healthier patterns while you're in this stressful time dealing with community and outreach?
Yes. It's always about a balancing act. So if you can introduce different factions for your physicality of your existence and produce habits out of those, but the problem is this, is that I had 2 heart attacks a year and a half ago. And the problem was so here I ate organic food for 30 years. I went to the gym. I did everything you can imagine. But, I grew up with my grandparents, and that was Crisco oil days. So the only reason I lived, I prayed because I believe in praying, by the way. So knew somewhere along the lines of my life, I was thinking that somewhere, I'm like, God, if you could please help me, because I know I learned a biology class because I love health classes. I was going to be a nutritionist, and I knew that your heart could grow its own bypass. All these years later, I had a stomach ache. I'm like, my stomach hurts. I blah, blah, blah. Come to find out, I thought I had an ulcer, bleeding ulcer. But after the second time, I realized it was a heart attack. So my heart grew its own bypass. I had 100% clogged artery, another 90% clogged artery, another 50%. So I stopped eating cheese, right after that, because the only thing I could think of that caused that issue was that, and plus, how I grew up. And, all I'm trying to do here is to, the whole goal of my foundation is someone has to shed light and stop shaming men and fathers, because, we get beat up by women. I can tell I talked to, and yes, we respect them, but, I even talked to one of my friends yesterday. We were talking, I said, dude, I've been beaten up, pushed around, and punched more by women than I have men. So 80% of the men don't even go make a claim or ever file a police report. So somewhere this balance for children, because we have a great country, we have the greatest country in the world. My family edited the Declaration of Independence. The first Treasurer of Continental Congress, Michael Ejegas, that's my last name, buried next to Benjamin Franklin, donated millions of dollars of war. So now I'm 59, and I feel like my commitment for whatever I have left in my life is to protect our children and the future of their children.
I think that there are bad behaviors on both sides, right? Let's own it. There are bad behaviors on both sides. And one of the problems with the human condition is that when we recognize a problem of imbalance, we overcorrect. We swing to the other side. So where there wasn't balance before and it was all patriarchal, now you're seeing this, in my opinion as well, damaging shift to only matriarch. And neither is one alone. Both should be a part of the equation, right? And so we need to find a way to come to the table and talk about all of that. And it does bring up stress and bring up habits, right? Like, so you were just smoking a cigarette. Obviously, that's not great for your health
It's
anymore
already
than it is for mine, right?
right.
And
You know,
so we actually have another meeting every other week. It's not this week, it's next week on Wednesday, and that's going to be at 1:45 Pacific. It's PM, 1:45 PM Pacific, 2:45 Mountain, 3:45 Central, and 4:45 Eastern. And it's how to community outreach. And that's a great place to come in and work strategies for what you're doing as community outreach. And then here we're talking more about, so within the everything you were talking about with your health, right? So I'm not familiar with growing a new artery, right? That's wonderful. And I'm not arguing that. There are so many things out there that are either not known or deliberately hidden and,
well,
and all of that.
they've known that since I was in the eighth grade. I remember reading about it. So I was praying, God, if anything happens to me. So when I went to the hospital, my heart surgeon said, your heart grew its own bypass.
Is that not wild?
I was
And
like, thank
so
you.
I believe in all of that type
Yes.
of information. And so when you talk about your childhood, that could definitely affect you, but with the healthy lifestyle that you led after that, probably not significantly, right? They say more and more that there are a lot of our genes that we can rewrite. There are some that are set in stone. We're going to have this eye color, this hair color be this height, things like that. But there are a lot of things that deal with our health and our longevity that we can
Epigenetics.
rewrite. Right. Yep. Epigenetics. And that's where you start losing me. I can talk the words, but I don't know the science. Right. And so, one of the things that I heard in your talk, did you eat a lot of healthy fats like avocados and?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I understand the fats and how critical they are. I read a book by Udo Ermes. He was a world-renowned chemist, fat doctor. He wrote a
Mhm.
book called Fats That Heal and Fats That Kill. And, during the time I was growing up, of course, they were swatting the Amish for, selling milk and so forth. So I wanted to be a nutritionist, but it was such a topsy-turvy field of like, can you even get in this endeavor, or are you going to be
Well, this
swatted?
person saying this person saying this, and then you have history saying another thing, right? That's why I didn't end up in the teaching fields as well. While I'm in here in the
Yeah.
community instead of in a public education system because it's all degraded. And so,
Yeah,
yes,
by the
the
way,
Amish are an excellent example.
how funny, because today you'll see that there's always the leading doctor in this field, and next thing you know, a week later, the other guy's coming up, the other leading doctor. He's like, no, this guy's antithetical to what I'm saying. So I did write a joke for this many years ago. It's called Academics. It goes like this. Two academics are on a bow of a ship. They look over and notice a man drowning. Instead of throwing him a life preserver, they throw him a set of instructions on how to swim.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
very true. And so that would be one thing, but I'm really surprised with the lifestyle that you led that you had that as well. And so I just wonder, red meat, when you don't have problems from red meat, did you get red meats? Like the Amish is a great example because they do speak to that older fashion of eating, right? They don't eat processed wheat. They eat rye and sourdough, and they
Sure.
eat meats, but they're better for them with the style of growth and everything. But did you cut out meats, or did you eat some of the, omega
No,
3?
I didn't cut out meats. I really looked at the vegetation, the vegetarian lifestyle, and part of their argument was that most people the largest amount of organ failure people who eat are vegetarian. So all these argumentative antithetical symmetries that coalesce and coexist at the same time, and it turns into a plethora of nonsense in which you can't even find yourself. It's a whirlwind of insanity. So at some certain point, I really had to realize that. Again, I could attribute it to, I think, the fact that, I grew up with my grandparents in Crisco oils. That's one polymer away from a plastic. And I think that really caused a huge problem. And I know cheese, not so good for you. There's a great doctor, I think it's Brzezinski. Dr. Wallach, Dr. Joseph Wallach. Now he's like in his 80s. He looks like he could be a linebacker for the New York Jets. And he swears by 12 eggs a day, two steaks a day. Now I know that there's been this big, huge push lately about people, yeah, oh yeah, we're just going to do a meat diet. But then later
I
on,
think
next
extremes are extremes, right?
100%,
Unless you have some very real
100%.
reason for pursuing it. That's why I like balance and looking back at our ancestors, as
Yeah,
well as like noticing where our body does the best. There are people that don't do well with a lot of meat. There are
I
people that
agree.
do well with more meat, and really finding out what is best for us and how our
All the way
body.
to all the way divided into what is your blood type. I mean, even there's a
There's
distinction of
diets based on
arguments
that as
that,
well, right?
right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I
And
100% agree.
so
They say it takes 10,000 years to have 1% mutation. So then they argue the bicuspids and the molars that are mashing teeth and say, okay, well, we know that, we've been around for X, Y, Z. So how could if we were one or the other, then why would we have both? So I
I mean, there
100%.
are other omnivorous animals out there as well, right? It's kind of and I'm not saying that vegetarianism or veganism is bad. It's for each of us to make our own determination. I
Right.
personally choose to eat meat. I also know the problems that are around our meat industry and everything. And that's again where I'd like to
100%.
take control back into our own hands and
Yeah.
have what we can, even on this small property where we may have like some quail or perhaps some, goodness, Cornish hens. They aren't as loud, right, in an urban setting, in a almost rural but not rural setting, and all of
Yeah,
those.
no, we know that Bill Gates has been trying to constantly since his inception of his hatred of humanity and the spoils that he stole all the information for Microsoft and basically
Well, why I don't
patented all
disagree
that
with
stuff.
you. That's
So
kind
he
of
said,
outside our purview here,
but he
right?
said,
Oh,
but he said, don't buy any farmland, and then he ended up buying 297,000 acres of farmland. Plus, he's trying to
yeah.
get genetic modification and patents on seeds, and then grow lab-grown meats. So we have come to this place where now, you have to even question, what am I eating? Because
You really do want to know.
I am
That is an
afraid of the new.
absolute.
Yes, yeah.
Hmm. And so, but again, bringing it back to the better habits for replacing the worst habits. How do you want to work on not drinking alcohol or minimizing your alcohol?
Well, I that's a great question. I somehow I found it to be a stress relief for me. When I drink, I only drink beer. I drink a super light beer. It
Hmm.
has like the lowest alcohol content in it, so I don't try to get too crazy with it. But
Well, the
you know,
light is kind of a
no, it's an
replacement of.
excuse, and it's not a good
Well,
excuse.
light, when we're talking about all these genetic modifications and things to food, the light is like a chemical replacement for sugar, which everything is a chemical, but a negative chemical like saccharin or something like that, right?
Well,
So,
I didn't mean light in terms of
okay,
the burning rate of its simple sugar versus complex sugar. That's not what I meant. I just meant it doesn't have much alcoholic content in it.
gotcha,
I
understood.
try to
Well,
alleviate myself. So how do I have to balance this? I have to just start exercising again because it's always figuring out a balance. And once you start doing that, they're like, oh shit, I feel like crap. And then you exercise. And the
right.
problem is metal plate in my neck. I was in a car accident 4.5 years ago. Someone's doing 85 on a freeway because they're a genius and smashed into me. And I couldn't move my neck for almost 3 years. Had to go to work like that. And then I needed basically two hip replacements. I had a blood, just amazing amount of shit. And somehow I found myself in this place and the stress of not seeing my kids and going, it made me stop eating food. I have tons of food here, but I just have a stomach ache from stress all the time. So I just need to figure out how to reverse it, and I know I can do it.
So we have a space here in Collectively Rewilding that's Gardens for Health, and there are lots of longer and short little pieces depending on what, like, this is where genes are not your destiny, how to modify your epigenetics for longevity, right? Like we have
I
some that
believe
are
that.
prescripted that we can't change, and then we have those that we can. And so this article is here for you. There's also cute little fun pieces that Ethel puts in here. If you're craving ice, you might need iron, just some little things to research yourself, of course,
Yeah.
and make
Good
sure
stuff,
that.
by the way. Good stuff.
Yes. So this is a place where you can jump in and check out things like that. And if it's not a problem for you, your alcohol, and you're using it with moderation as stress relief and balancing it with exercise, that seems like a really positive thing. But perhaps you'd like to join me on ceasing smoking cigarettes, because I don't think anybody can come up with a valid
I
reason for
know.
that one.
I've smoked on and off my whole life. I'll smoke for a month, 3 months, a year. Then I quit for 3 or 4 years and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
That's just kind of been my my conundrum of this capricious pendulum.
So I don't know about blockage, but let's just see if
Well, it does. I mean, it takes 100 milligrams of vitamin C out of your. So if you want to get blockage out, I know there's a lot of new stuff on the internet now with supposedly there's certain B vitamins that you can take and antioxidants will actually break down the ethereal walls in your arteries. That's
there
why
is so
that's
much
why
out there,
nitric
right?
oxides, that's why nitric there was a point when I was 48, I'm 59 now, where I went to the doctor and she said, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Wait a minute, don't make me so fearful. What do you mean? You're carrying all my people? What am I doing?" She goes, "You have the best blood work I've ever seen in my life." I was juicing beet, celery, kale, cilantro, parsley, onions, garlic, all that stuff. I did it for about a year. Plus, I was eating oatmeal every day, which is supposed to clean out the cholesterol in your stomach, which was where a lot of plaque will build up in your intestines. So, there is a relationship between the plaque in your intestines, the plaque in your teeth, and the plaque in your heart.
There's a correlation between a lot of things. I've not heard that specifically, but I have heard about for like ourselves or for animals. I heard it more in relation to animals, but also humans. If you brush your teeth irregularly, you're going to be knocking that plaque down into your system, and that can be really bad for you. And so that makes a lot of sense. That takes it to
Yeah,
another
that's why
level.
a lot of doctors say, hey, floss more now and so forth. Yeah, there's a
So
great
it
book.
does
There was a great book
smoking.
written by Matthias Rath. He was a heart surgeon, and his book was called "Why Animals Don't Have Heart Attacks." And he was talking about their ability to assimilate certain vitamins. And your body can't process vitamins without minerals, so it's critical to have good minerals as well.
I wonder a lot of times why animals have stronger overall constitutions than people. And I think that we've weakened ourselves. We've domesticated ourselves, right? We say domesticated cat, domesticated dog. Well, we're domesticated Homo sapiens. And so we have caused a lot of detriment to our health, to our DNA over a lot of the things that we have. And so smoking, it can cause blockages. So with
100%.
all the other things that you've talked about and just being in your childhood with the canola oil or whatever it was that you used as a reference, I would say that the smoking has more
Yes,
likelihood.
I don't deny that.
So I'll just encourage you again to think about quitting with me. I'm not doing well right now. That's me owning my
Why?
place
What's
right now
wrong?
with quitting.
Why are you not doing
Um,
well? What's up? Why?
I'm so busy and there are a lot of things changing. We kind of all exist in this community and in Lesko Help too. And so there's a lot going on over in LH2 and it just allows me to excuse myself into going back into the habits. And my husband and I were going to try on Saturday to start using the puffy airs again. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with those. These are
No, what
something
are
that
they?
puffy air.
Uh,
And so, oh, they have them at Walmart now. Oh, how interesting. They are these little, they do feel more like a pen or a pencil than a cigarette shape, but it's very comforting to your hand because it has that familiar feel. And they light up on the end and they're essential oil diffusers. I
oh, I
would
see.
be like
Okay.
the best way to explain it. And so they have one for lungs, right? Okay, so I'll go over here. Let's do this really quickly. They have the lung energy boost there, and that's uh, everyone's favorite. I think it tastes the best, and you can just get it by yourself. But these 4 packs are the most inexpensive way to order them. And then you also have the milkweed and no, what is it? Milk thistle and dandelion for the metabolic support. It's a liver cleanser, is what they call it. And then it
Very
has
nice.
sleep support with melatonin and I think it's got ashwagandha and a couple of herbs in it. And then this is a different pack, isn't it?
Oh, definitely all good stuff, though. I've taken all that individually. Definitely helps.
It does. And the way that it lights up at the end and you see a puff of the essential oil diffusion come out is really satisfying to those of us who smoke cigarettes. And
Yeah.
so, Vanessa, I don't know if this is real or not. I would definitely check it
No,
out.
I know
But
it's such a good question, by the way. Listen, I just ordered some shit on Amazon. I had a broken little mirror for my side mirror in my car. So I ordered that. I ordered a back tail light for my car. never came. Right.
Uh-oh.
So you're busy. I got my own company. I'm working 7 days a week, basically, blah, 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 blah. A month goes by. You're like, hey, where's my stuff at? Then you're digging through all your shit from your bank accounts and you're like, wow, I can't even find it. So fair warning to anybody that orders something online, definitely make sure you do a screen capture because,
Well, not
it's,
only that, but keep up on it, right? So that you or stay within their time frames. Because sometimes, even if you can legitimately prove that it never got to you, if you waited too long, it won't matter anyway, right?
yeah.
And so it is time
Well,
to
no,
end
I
that
said
debate. It
30
was a
days
lot of
though. I know
fun
after,
getting to
no,
talk
for,
with you, Patrick. We probably
yeah,
should try to keep it towards
sure, let's
quitting
go.
um,
Okay.
for our next conversation, but it is also about quitting is also getting to know each other, right? And we don't know you yet. We didn't get a chance to hear from Miss Deborah. Did you want to speak up before we talked about our next upcoming class, Deborah? And I'll ask you to unmute just to make sure you know you're muted there. Okay. And so anyone else, before we shut down for the day, did you want to talk about where you are with quitting? Tammy was out there. Patrick was out there. I've shared mine. Would anybody else like the floor before we shut down for the day?
Oh my God, you're so shy. Just turn your mics on and talk.
No, actually, most of them are not, right? And Deborah was talking to us when she first came in. So we're just getting to know her, but we have a really good community in here, Patrick. So we have about 4 classes every week. And so we hope both of you will join in and see what's out there. Again, next week, Wednesday, How To's Community Outreach will be a great strategizing class for
That's
working on
awesome.
your outreach. All
That's
right.
awesome. I do have one more question for you though.
Okay.
So, I joined the Lesco group, um, and I get so many emails, and I go to work, and I got, I have employees, I got this, I like
So
wearing
you
nine.
can unsubscribe from all of those emails that are not directed to you that are of value to you. So if you see something, now also within your Mighty Network communities, whether it's Let's Go Help 2 or Collectively Rewilding, you can jump into your account, right? On your phone,
Yeah.
it's going to be in the lower right-hand corner, but you
Okay.
click that account and then you can go into your personal settings here and then you can go into notifications and you can actually turn your emails off so that you don't get them at all, or you can turn it to daily digest so you only get one email a day. And then
I
all
see.
the rest are going to be marketing emails outside of what you get from within the Mighty Networks communities of Let's Go Help 2 and Collectively
Yes.
Rewilding. So it might be better for you to just click the daily
Okay.
digest or turn
Understood.
email off entirely. Okay.
Gotcha. So then the next issue, then of course, I want to utilize. Obviously, we all joined this because we realize that Matthew has spent his life, you know, mapping out all this stuff for all of us, and so we're newcomers and we're like just trying to drink some water from the pond without getting eaten by the alligator,
All right.
in lost
So
in
I
lost
have a
direction of
class
time.
in Let's Go Help 2 that will be in 1.5 hours. So no matter where you are, it'll be, let me
One
just
and a
look
half
at it
hours.
again so I can read it off to you while we go. That is going to be at
7:30 my time.
7:30. You're in Eastern time?
Yeah, 7:30.
Okay, yep, 7:30 it is. So 7:30 Eastern,
Okay.
6:30 Central, 5:30 Mountain, and 4:30 Pacific. And that's over in Let's Go Help 2. And so
Oh,
you'll be
great.
able to come in there and ask all of those kinds of questions, and I
Oh,
can really
cool.
get in depth with you.
Yeah, that's awesome because now I can feel like I can at least, try to get someone to say, "Hey, man, you're grasping in the, outer space. Focus on this and that."
No,
Because I
no,
do
I,
want to.
I think you're doing great. I will tell you though that neither community tries to focus on politics. We can't help it. I bring it up every once in a while myself as well, but we do try to avoid it. But we want to support your efforts. Absolutely. Right.
Oh yeah,
So
I
let's
understand that.
focus our conversation a little bit more towards that, but we do want to get to know you. So we're so glad that you shared so much with us today.
Well, that's
And
great.
for
Thank you.
our community here, our next class is going to be on Thursday, and that is the garden planning Q&A. And that one I did turn into paid for course. It's only $5 a month. But if you're not interested in doing that, not to worry. All the rest of the material here in Collectively Rewilding is open to everyone. Okay. And so that will be Thursday, garden planning Q&A at 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific, 5 o'clock p.m. Mountain, 6 o'clock p.m. Central and 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you all there. And definitely, Patrick, jump into that class in LH2 here in an hour and a half, and we can break down all the great things for your business, your nonprofit, everything that you're doing. Okay?
That's so awesome. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you. And thank you, Deborah, for joining us as new members. And thank you to all of the regular community that show up and work through these troubles and challenges and successes with us every week,
That's awesome.
every month, we should say now, right? Please feel free, everyone, to unmute yourself and say good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sabrina. Good evening, everybody. I'll see you in the next live Zoom.
Definitely. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.